Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Divine Duchess, Self-Love, a Personal Journey. I thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, I welcome you to my channel. I ask that you like and you share and you subscribe and you leave a comment down below. And for those of you who have joined me before, thank you for joining me again on this episode. Um, Today, I want to talk about triggers. In this last week, I was, I felt very triggered by some statements and comments that my mother had said to me earlier. Said to me, and there is a history of me wanting to be loved and accepted within my family. And that has always been something that I have dealt with and continue to deal with. And I think I have put the majority of that to rest. And I'm still a work in progress. There's still things that I still have to accept and work through. And this is one of them. I had some issues with my dad before he passed, and he had an opportunity to kind of look out for me in a really great way. It could have really set, my whole situation up with the kids and his daughter before he passed, and he chose not to do it. And that kind of hurt me. Not kind of, it did hurt me. It was almost devastating, and it made me feel like who looks out for Nicole, well, my name is Nicole, so I'm just going to say who I am. But it hurt me. And then he passed and life goes on, and I've worked through that. And the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because I realized when my mother said to me, and she says that it was in a joke, but I took that shit personal. She said, if your father loved you, he would have took care of you before he passed. And that when to hear her say that, and for her to know what I've gone through with him in that situation, and taking care of him before he passed, and all of the things that we have talked about concerning him when it came to that. I know I'm being very vague because I don't know if I really want to get into that story, but it hurt me and it triggered me, and it made me kind of understand that I am not completely over it. I am not completely done with it. So when a trigger is, for me, a soft spot that needs to be checked, it needs to be evaluated, it's almost like a systems check for me. And that's something I have to work through. I have to let it go. And even though she said that in a mean way, and it wasn't not in a mean way, but she said it was a joke, I still took it personal. I didn't really like it, and it hurt my feelings. But through all of that, in some ways, it was true. It kind of feels like his love for me was conditional. And to see your child in a position where you could help them, or you can kind of like change their lives, but it it leaves a question of, do you Is it? I don't. Anyway, I'm going on about that, and I guess I'm still working. I still, and this is what I mean with those triggers. It leads to a lot of different questions, and I have to answer these questions, and I have to sit with myself, and I have to make peace with myself with why I feel that way. And it was his choice. It was his decision to not do that, and his choice for whatever it was, and it was completely a selfish choice. His choices affects other people, not just him. And that part of him that was selfish, that part of him that didn't want to think about himself and the future of his grandkids that he has and says that he loved, and he want to make sure that he set them up, and he kind of dropped the ball on that. Not even kind, he dropped everything on that. Like, he just fumbled that. But I still have to find joy in it, because I believe and I trust and I know that God must have something. He has something better for me because of that choice that he made. God has led him to do that, or if that's what in his heart he felt, because God has something else that he has set up for me. And in order for me to be able to receive and not have the bitterness of it, the bitter taste of it, I have to make peace. I have to make peace with it. Maybe I'm just being too hard on myself, but maybe I just really need to sit with myself and understand that his choices was his and mine's are mine's. And although his choices affected me, it was still his choice. And I have to make better choices for myself. And I have the opportunity to make choices that would positively impact my children and their future. So I just wanted to reach out to you guys and just share what was on my mind about triggers, and to the best way to resolve a trigger and react. And in that moment, I wanted to react. In the moment, I wanted to spaz out. But I feel like I've gone to a point with that, with my resolve with that situation, that in that moment, I can only not respond in anger. And that would have been something that I would have done before. So I'm happy to see the growth in that. Even though it hurt, I took my time to resolve, to come to think about it, to understand it, to work with what was making me feel bad about it. And then approach my mom and tell her how I felt. And even though she said, she was joking and it was a joke or whatever, that shit wasn't funny. I can't even find a fucking joke in it. But, my relationship with my mom is a whole another story. Maybe my next installment will be about the mother and father wound, and we can talk about that. But anyway, I thank you for listening. I hope that somewhere in my word vomit, there was something that you could take away from that, and to understand that triggers are places where we need to heal. So thank you again for listening. Thank you for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will be talking to you soon. Take care. Love you. Bye-bye.